Sagittarius, this week asks you to stop turning pain into a philosophy before you have actually felt it. The Three of Swords is your card, and it is one of the clearest images in tarot, a heart pierced by truth, disappointment, grief, separation, or realization. But this card is not a sentence. It is a moment of contact with what hurts, and contact is different from captivity. The cosmic weather for this reading is intentionally uncluttered. No verified astrological events or house map transits were supplied for August 26th through September 1st, so I will not invent a celestial explanation or assign emotional timing to the sky. The tarot card carries the full message, and the Three of Swords asks for honesty without dramatization. Your card is the Three of Swords. This card can represent heartbreak, but it can also represent the pain of seeing something clearly. A belief may no longer survive the evidence. A friendship may not be as mutual as you thought. A plan may have failed. A conversation may reveal a truth you cannot unknow. For Sagittarius, the instinct can be to search quickly for meaning. You are gifted at finding the larger story. But meaning can become an escape when it arrives before emotion has been allowed to exist. Your central thesis is, pain can be information without becoming identity. In love, the Three of Swords asks you to tell the truth about disappointment without turning disappointment into a prophecy. If you are partnered, there may be an old hurt that still influences how you interpret current behavior. That does not mean the hurt is imaginary. It means the present deserves to be evaluated as the present. If repair is possible, it requires specificity. What exactly happened? What consequence remains? What would repair look like now? Avoid using broad statements like you always or I can never. They turn one wound into an entire worldview. If a relationship is ending or has already ended, this card gives you permission to grieve without converting the ending into proof that love is unsafe or that you were foolish to care. A failed connection can still contain real affection, real lessons, and real incompatibility. Complexity does not invalidate pain, and pain does not have to invalidate the whole experience. If you are single, notice whether humor, independence, travel, work, or constant motion have become ways to outrun vulnerability. Sagittarius is capable of moving forward quickly, but forward movement can still carry unprocessed grief. The card asks you to make room for what remains without letting it choose your future partners for you. In work, the Three of Swords can show disappointment around an outcome, feedback, rejection, missed opportunity, or conflict. If something did not go the way you wanted, resist two extremes, pretending it does not matter, and treating it as evidence that the entire path is wrong. Ask what the event actually teaches. Was the strategy weak? Was the timing poor? Was the opportunity simply not yours? Did you receive useful criticism mixed with an unpleasant delivery? Separate the wound from the data. With money, this card can point to uncomfortable information. Perhaps a purchase disappoints you, a cost is higher than expected, or a financial decision needs correction. The useful response is not shame. Shame makes numbers harder to look at. Accuracy makes them easier to change. If something went wrong, calculate the actual impact, identify what can still be controlled, and choose one corrective action. For health and energy, emotional pain can consume attention even when you appear functional. Give yourself room to acknowledge that. This is not a diagnosis and not a prediction. It is a reminder that emotional strain is still strain. If you are tired, distracted, or unusually reactive, ask whether you are spending energy suppressing something you have not named. Support, rest, journaling, movement, or a conversation with someone trustworthy can help make the experience less isolating. For your week day by day, use the days as a sequence for processing rather than a forecast. On Wednesday, name the hurt without explaining it. Write one sentence beginning, "What hurts is," keep the sentence factual and personal. Do not turn it into a judgment of your entire life. On Thursday, separate the event from the meaning you assign to it. Write what happened, then write the story your mind created. Those two things may overlap, but they are rarely identical. On Friday, allow yourself one honest expression of feeling. Cry if you need to. Talk to someone. Write an unsent note. Take a long walk without trying to solve anything. The goal is contact, not performance. On Saturday, return to the body. Eat, hydrate, rest, stretch, clean your space, or do something ordinary with your hands. Pain can make the whole world feel symbolic. Ordinary physical care reminds you that life is still happening around the wound. On Sunday, ask what the experience taught you that you actually want to keep. Not every lesson deserves to survive. Never trust anyone is not wisdom. I need consistency before I invest deeply might be. On Monday, make one choice that protects your future without punishing your past. Update a boundary, change a plan, ask for clarification, or stop reopening a conversation that has already given you its answer. On Tuesday, look at the distance between the first sentence you wrote on Wednesday and how you feel now. The pain may still exist. The goal is not disappearance. The goal is more space around it. Your 3 journal prompts are these. First prompt: what am I grieving that I keep trying to convert into a lesson before I have fully acknowledged the loss? Second prompt: which belief did this pain create, and is that belief actually fair to my future? Third prompt: what boundary or standard can I keep from this experience without carrying the wound itself as a permanent identity? For your weekly guidance, write a 3-part letter that you will not send. In the first section, write what hurt and describe the experience without exaggeration. In the second, write what it taught me and list only lessons that are specific, usable, and compassionate toward your future self. In the third, write what I refuse to carry and name the conclusions you do not want to turn into identity: bitterness, self-blame, cynicism, the need to prove something, or the belief that pain makes you unlovable. When you finish, fold the letter and put it away for the rest of the week. Do not keep editing it. Let the writing hold what your mind has been carrying. There is a deeper Sagittarius lesson here about optimism. Real optimism is not the refusal to feel pain. It is the belief that pain does not get the final word. If your optimism requires you to deny grief, it becomes fragile. If it can sit beside grief and still imagine a future, it becomes resilient. Also be careful with the temptation to make a dramatic decision solely to prove that you are moving on. You do not need to book the escape, replace the person, quit the path, or reinvent your identity just because stillness feels uncomfortable. Movement can be healing, but only when it is chosen rather than used as anesthesia. The Three of Swords does not ask you to worship the wound. It asks you to stop lying about it. Once pain is accurately named, it becomes more workable. It can inform a boundary, deepen compassion, sharpen discernment, or simply become something that happened to you rather than something that defines you. Sagittarius, your freedom this week comes from allowing grief to be specific. Specific pain has edges. It can be held. It can be understood. It can eventually be placed in the past. Vague pain becomes a fog over everything. Give the heart a name for what happened, then give your future permission to remain larger than the wound. Remember that healing does not require you to become grateful for everything that hurt you. You can find meaning without thanking the wound. You can grow without pretending the experience was necessary. Sometimes the most honest conclusion is simply that something was painful, you responded as well as you could, and now you are choosing what happens next. Your weekly affirmation is, I honor what hurt, keep the wisdom, and refuse to let pain write the whole story of who I am becoming. Carry that with you through September 1st. Subscribe so your next weekly reading is waiting for you. Trust the timing. The stars have spoken.